Hello everybody, Ben here, and welcome to Benjy's Cafe Podcast. My guest this week is the TV presenter, Briony May Williams. Over 500 days alcohol-free and flying, Briony has become a regular fixture on our screens, making her TV debut as a contestant on Great British Bake Off in 2018. She has gone on to present the BBC's popular daytime show Escape to the Country, Channel 4's Food Unwrapped, and BBC One's Morning Live, and all with a smile. Briony also shares the joy of sobriety on her hugely popular and entertaining Instagram page, Gloriously Sober.
What you perceive as boring when you're drinking is actually wonderful when you're not, and you don't perceive it as boring. You're like, no, this is actually where I find my joy now, and it's such a genuine joy.
Life is good, but get ready to feel even better. Welcome to Benjy's Cafe Podcast, Briony May Williams. Good morning, Briony. How are you?
Good morning. What a lovely introduction. I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I am super duper. The sun is out in Liverpool. Morning walk done. I've had a little coffee and I am rocking and rolling.
It's ready to go. All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Just want to start with congratulations. 547 days alcohol free. Do you feel amazing?
Do you know what? I really do. And the longer I do it for, the longer I want to do it for. I just feel like it's completely, in a very cliche kind of way, changed my life. You know, in just such a positive, wonderful way. And I've never felt better. It's such a positive thing. And I can't believe it's been 547 days. That's mad.
Oh, well, you look so well, and aesthetically, the changes are mind-blowing, aren't they? I'm fascinated by the before and afters. Before, I'm like the Grim Reaper, and afterwards, I look even more like Bruce Forsyth. But I am happy. It's great, isn't it? Just how good you feel, your skin, the sparkle in your eyes, but just that feeling of energy and calm.
100%. Yeah. So many people are like, oh my God, you look so well. Like you're glowing. And I'm like, am I? And they're like, yeah. And it's, you know, yeah, I've dropped quite a lot of weight, but I think more than that, it's kind of the confidence that it gives you. There's something about not drinking and kind of getting to know yourself again, and without all that alcohol and that blurring around the edges. And when you feel so content and happy within yourself, just this confidence sort of oozes off you, and I think people can see that, and they're like, "Oh wow, you look amazing," and you're like, "Thanks." Thanks
Well,
very
you
much. I
do,
feel amazing.
But it's lovely, isn't it, that, you know, people notice that, and it really gives you, one, a confidence boost. It gave me a massive confidence boost, but also a fearlessness in life as well. It's, okay, I'm my complete self here to kind of pursue my dreams almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fact that it coincided with me turning 40 as well was kind of a double whammy of sort of just feeling okay, like not okay, better than that, feeling great within my body and who I am and who I've become and who I want to, you know, carry on being. So yeah, it was quite a nice coincidence, sort of nice coinciding of turning 40 and stopping drinking. And it's like, yeah, great. I feel like I could take over the world.
Well, I'm 50 this year. I can't believe it. The big 550. And likewise, it's like, I know, likewise. I'm so boring though, Brian. My fiance Rita, she's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to party? It's like, I am more than happy sitting with Betty, just chilling, maybe a bit of sport on TV, a nice little 0% beer. You know, it's so funny from my touring days as an actor, where now my happy and calm is just beautiful. That's enough for me. It's so funny how your life can kind of shift, can't it?
Yeah, hugely. You know, before my happy was being sat in a pub garden with, you know, a bottle of rosé, you know, each with me and my friends, and that was probably vaping or, you know, having a cheeky cigarette. And then now it's like, actually, I really enjoy being at home, being with my family, with my daughter and my husband and my dog, or going for a walk or going out for a coffee, and then being tucked up in bed by 9 o'clock and with a decaf cup of tea. And I just, honestly, the joy. But it's so funny because when I look back, obviously I did have a lovely time when I was drinking with my friends, and, you know, I really enjoyed their company. But there's something such a peaceful joy you get when you stop drinking. And it's that kind of like, it's okay if I want to get into bed at 9 o'clock. I'm not missing out on anything. Like, you know, if I went to a pub now and started drinking, would I gain that much from my evening? No. You know, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to feel refreshed, I'm going to be ready to take on the day. And it's almost like I feel like I'm almost like I'm a grown up now.
What I love is talking to like-minded people, Brian, because all the plushes are there, and we're all so similar. It's like just looking forward to a bright, energetic day ahead. And likewise, I think last night we were in bed by 8:30, and it's like it's absolutely bloody wonderful. Like my new best friend is my 40 tog duvet.
And that's okay. And that's a wonderful thing. And I think a lot of people think, oh, sober, boring, sobriety is boring. But actually, what you perceive as boring when you're drinking is actually wonderful when you're not. And you don't perceive it as boring. You're like, no, this is actually where I find my joy now. And it's such a genuine joy. And it's also like, because you're looking after your body and you're protecting your body. And I never, ever thought about that really before. And then, stopping drinking. And when you start realizing how bad alcohol is for you and what it does to you, mentally, I've had depression since I was in my early 20s. How bad what that alcohol was doing to my brain in such a negative way and physically. And then you're like, I just don't need it and I don't want it because now I'm looking after my body. I'm giving myself this gift of time in so many different ways. And also when I look at my daughter who's 9 and I think, I want to be around as long as possible for you. If you decide to have babies, I want to be there and holding my grandbabies. And, me and Steve, I want us to be rocking around in our 80s, causing havoc together, like,
It's so true though, the health point, Brian. I think that's fantastic because it was just something that was never on my radar when I was drinking and partying and having fun after a show or after a day's play at the cricket. It was never thinking, oh, is this actually damaging my body? But now I am feeling better. It's almost like, oh my goodness, I'm giving myself such a better chance of a longer life,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what a gift. Like, I don't know how anyone could perceive that as boring there's so much judgment still when you say you don't drink. People kind of give you that. And you think, but yeah, what better way to give myself that gift of more time with the people that I love. And I'm also going through the early menopause, which is great fun. So and my body, it just feels, because for the first few years I was going through it, I was still drinking, and the hangovers and the aches and the pains, like, just feels like your body is kind of attacking itself a little bit. And then when I stop drinking, I still get all that, but I can manage it better. And it's less because I'm not drinking alcohol. My symptoms aren't quite as severe. I still get them. And because I'm in a more sort of stable mental state as well, when the waves of rage hit you, you can kind of manage it better, and where it's coming from, and because your mind's a little more at peace and more comfortable, you can be like, okay, I know what that is.
Well, I think being alcohol free gives you that calmness, doesn't it? That peaceful state of mind where you're dead right, Bryony. You are balanced to deal, with whatever life kind of throws at you, and you feel fresh and ready to make better decisions and put those coping mechanisms in place.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. And that's such a lovely, and again, I think that's where that, going back to that confidence, I think that sort of factors in as well, because you do feel so in control of yourself and your body and your life. It's like, well, I can be confident because I know exactly what I did last night. I don't have any memory blanks whatsoever. I've got zero regrets. I've woken up this morning feeling great in my body, in myself. Mentally, I'm excited for the day because, it's not all blurry and fuzzy and I'm not wanting to ram my head into a cold bowl of water because it hurts so much. I'm ready to take on the day. I'm good. I'm more confident at taking on life because I've lost. I haven't lost anything. I've gained so much from stopping drinking. And if you'd said to me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this will be such a positive, fun change in your life, I'd have told you to piss off because I'd have been like, absolutely not. I love drinking. I love wine. And even my best friend went sober a year before I did.
Oh, wow.
And I watched her find this peace and this joy, and she lost loads of weight. She looked amazing, and her whole being sort of, she just felt so much better in herself. And even that, I was like, yeah, great, but I'm still going to drink.
It's so true. Like I had two or three friends, Brian, similarly, and who decided to stop drinking. And you sort of see from afar that they're looking better. Their career is starting, reignited. Their joy and zest and spark for life is reignited. And it's like, oh wow, hang on. It's like looking back, it was so helpful. Actually, I could see the improvement in their life and how they look to give me the boost to kind of go for it.
Yeah, I think it is having that person in your life,
Yeah.
or even someone online who you can look at and see has had all these, these positive benefits from stopping drinking. And that's one of the things I wanted to do with Gloriously Sober, was show people the fun and the joy and the celebration, rather than like, oh, I stopped drinking, everything's so
Yeah.
boring, or everything even surrounding the word sober is so, somber and dull.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
like just contained in this sober box, all the sober box,
And as soon as you
Yeah.
say to someone, I'm sober, they go, ooh, they actually, I sober doesn't have to mean boring or dull or that you're losing out on anything.
Yeah.
Me and my best friend now, when we go out, we plan little adventures. So rather than just going to the pub and drinking 3 bottles of wine, we'll go axe throwing, or we'll go to the driving range and play golf, even though neither of us know how to play golf. We'll go. We did a pole dancing fitness club, which was very funny,
Oh
but really,
wow.
yeah. So like we do all these kind of like really adventurous things. Or we'll meet at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning and go for a walk with the dog and have a coffee, and you're like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then you just feel really smug for the rest of the day.
Oh, that feeling. It's like I love being smug Derek. I'm like, Derek is in town. I
Yeah.
love it. It's just
And we've earned
great.
it, damn it. We're allowed to be smug.
Yeah. Well, what I love as well about the feel of the Gloriously Sober page, Brian, is that you're celebrating sobriety and that it isn't dull. It's a fantastic thing to have discovered midlife, where you can propel to the next stage of your life, celebrating life with friends and family, and the
Yeah.
joy of life as well, the happiness it can give you.
And I really genuinely didn't understand that that's what would happen, not drinking. I thought
Mm.
it was going to be a really negative thing. I thought it was going to be really boring, because I was curious about it, obviously, when my friend gave up drinking. And that kind of sober curiosity that I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But I was sort of like, I just think it's going to be too boring. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. What will happen with my relationship with my husband? Because, I've always been a social drinker, but, we would, have some wine at the weekend together, or when we go out, we enjoy picking the wine together, and, and I was worried how that would affect our relationship and things like that. And actually now I've done it and I've come through the other side, everything is better.
Yeah.
Everything. My relationship with Steve is better because we're more connected, because I'm more present, and I'm not like a little gremlin just living on the sofa because I can't. Gonna have a hangover for 3 days. And the knock-on effect in terms of drinking, he's delighted because he gets a designated driver everywhere we go, so he's like super duper happy about
Yeah.
that. Also, he doesn't drink as much anymore, and not because I've asked him not to drink. It's just a kind of natural cutting down, because I'm not there, because I was always the bad influence. I'd be like, oh, go on, let's have one more, or let's go and have a cocktail, or
Yeah. Yeah.
let's open a bottle of wine. Whereas now he'll quite happily have an alcohol-free beer and of an evening, and that's all he wants.
You might have been, the small gremlin on the sofa. I was the very tall, lanky gremlin on the sofa, where I wasn't being the best partner. Like, I was lethargic, I was grey, I was lazy, I'd lost my spark, and and likewise, since stopping, the improvement of being present it's just wonderful. And likewise, she wasn't a huge drinker anyway, Rita, but now literally I would say she barely drinks anymore. So through me stopping, it's like just given us such a better chance of a happier relationship, because she's getting, I don't know if you find this, like the complete unfiltered best version of oneself.
No, 100%. And I'm a better mum as well, like, not,
Yeah.
again, I was a social drinker. I wouldn't really drink in the week unless I was maybe away with work filming, and we might have because you're staying in a hotel, so you have dinner at the hotel, you might have a glass of wine. Um, but I just think, because I'm so like, right, let's get up and go swimming at the weekend, or let's go out and do this. There's so much less of me kind of lying in bed, kind of going, oh, I don't want to get up. Or...
You're there embracing life. It's almost like you've got this, you're solid, you're rooted, and you can pivot.
And I think also I've sort of another parallel that I've seen as the sobriety's gone on is that my confidence has grown and my work is better. So like the last series I filmed of Escape to the Country, it felt like me, whereas the other two series I filmed were me, but I was kind of still trying to find my feet. I wasn't 100% sure maybe how to approach it, you're joining this iconic established show with all these amazing presenters, and then you come in, you think, right, how do I make this my own? How do I do it confidently and capably? So this, the first two series were wonderful, and I'm still very proud of those. But when I look back on the last series, I think, oh, okay, that's me being me, confident in what I'm doing, reassured, and you can see my personality coming out more. And the fact that I'm enjoying it more, and that coincided with me being sober. So, I think that there's a big correlation between that, because that confidence that I gained with giving up alcohol and taking control of my life meant that actually I know, because I'm clear-headed, there's nothing blurring it, that the decisions that I'm making and the portrayal I'm putting across of myself is genuinely that. Yeah. And, then the comments start coming in from the higher ups going, this series, you're really nailing it. Like, this is so good. This is, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, this obviously works then if I'm being me and I'm being my genuine self. And it sort of, again, that gives you another bit confidence boost, and you could keep doing that. So same with Morning Live, the last, I'd say 18 months, last year in particular, I've become so much more confident and I think better on it now than I was 2 years ago. Again, not saying that it was bad, but I just think it's so much better than it was. And again, I can say that, and I'm not saying it to be arrogant or, up myself, because that's just not who I am. But it's more, again, because you're clear-headed and you're just, it's unfiltered. So you can say objectively, oh, actually, that's better than it was.
You've got the confidence to be your complete self on screen, and it's so interesting that just shines through for you. Similarly on stage, I've had an okay acting career. Acting's a tough old gig, as is, presenting. My goodness, we're in a crazy world, aren't we? The ups and downs. But yeah. Cutting out booze certainly helps, give us the strength to sit in that. But the years where I've just got by on stage and always second guessing what a director might think of me, or a producer. I don't know if you thought that in the TV world, Briony.
Oh, yeah.
But then my first panto, my first acting gig when I was alcohol free, was I was playing Widow Twankey in Aladdin in Blackpool.
Wow.
And I was like, I bloody loved it, because it's like I was present, I could improvise, I was feeding off the audience, but I could just embrace the whole experience. And I think it's okay to be a little bit like, I'm doing well here. I think, us alcohol-free folk should do more of that, because it is hard. It's tricky to stay away from alcohol, especially in the media world, my goodness, in the theatre world. But isn't it lovely when that you're in front of the camera, I'm on stage, that you're just there fearless, and, what's the worst that can happen? You're giving your best version of yourself, and that's going to help the programme, and ultimately your career's flying, isn't it?
I'm very proud of what I've been doing, and the fact that I'm still managing to kind of still riding the wave, the Bake Off wave 7 years later. It'll be 7 years actually now this month that we were filming Bake Off. Gosh. So and they're going to start filming the new series soon, because the sun's come out. So
okay.
Because the sun comes out, you're like, they're filming Bake Off. So it can be 100 million degrees in the tent. And I think, because I want to keep doing this, I love doing this. And like you say, it's a very tricky place to be at the minute, because of the TV world is changing and evolving, and you have to kind of really work hard at what you're doing and to stay a part of it, and to stay deserving of it. So for me, it's come at a good time, because I feel capable of doing that. I feel strong, enough. And also when when the rejections come and the negative bits come, because as they always do in any job, I'd love to do Strictly. They've not wanted me to do it for the last couple of years. It's a bit like, no, but because I'm so happy and contented
Yeah.
with my life and who I am, I can take that rejection better than say a couple of years ago when it would have devastated me. Whereas now I'm like, okay, it's just not the right time. We move on. It's all good. And yeah, I think you just feel like you say, whatever life throws at you, you feel more confident to kind of catch it and go, all right.
You're so effervescent, Briony, that good things will definitely happen to you, even when it's not the time that you kind of want them to happen.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I am a big believer in, everything happening for a reason and at the right time. So, it's just one of those things. If it doesn't happen at this time, it's not meant to be. And, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky and feel very honoured to be doing the job that I'm doing and have two jobs like Escape and Morning Live. I mean, I get to work with the most wonderful teams. People say to me, what's it like to work on these shows? Joyous. Like, the people who work on it, they love their job. They work bloody hard to make sure that they're doing a good job and that what we're producing is the best it can be. Escape to the Country's been on for 24 years, and it's just won a TV Choice Award, the first award it's ever won. And you're like, that's amazing. And that's because everybody on that team, from the people behind the scenes, organising which hotels we're going to stay in, the locations we're going to go to the researchers who are finding these incredible houses, to the presenters, to the camera guys, to the execs, everybody's working so hard to make it amazing and push it forward into 2025. And you're like, that's amazing that it won a TV Choice Award. And then Morning Live's just been nominated for a freaking BAFTA. Like, what? And you're like, this is amazing. And it's because you're surrounded by these people who just want to do such a good job and who want everything to be the best it can be. And then you come in, you're like, yeah, I want it to be good too. And I'll do everything I can to make it the best it can be. So yeah, it's just, I feel so lucky to be a part of two shows that are just a wonderful family unit.
I think
you in with open arms.
I think you're the secret ingredient, Briony, to all these award nominations.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but
you're working with like-minded people. You've got this joyous group of people that are passionate about what they do and are just lovely people to spend the day with. It's always going to push towards a great end product, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you think something like Morning Live, right? All the people that are on Morning Live, you've got like Gethin Jones, Gabby Roslin, Kimberly Walsh, Dr. Rand, Dr. Zan. There could be so many egos there. There could be, it could be, you could walk into a room full of two big egos. There's not a single ego in sight. They are such down to earth, kind, lovely people.
Oh, that's so great. I love it. And Bake Off, Briony, I mean, what an experience, I imagine. But I'm a big one for, I love my music, I love my walking exercise to kind of calm me if life's getting a bit bonkers or a little bit, I just need to chill here a little bit.
Yeah.
With baking, did you always use that as kind of like a go-to for when life was just a bit crazy? And just the benefits of baking, like, I guess, is it just like a lovely escapism? And how lovely was it then to take, to be part of Bake Off? Like, that's crazy.
It is mad, and looking back on it now, it's like, wow, that it took me from being in my kitchen just muddling along to the Bake Off tent. I mean, yeah, so for me, baking has been a therapy because I actually started baking in 2013. I was off work, I wasn't very well. It ended up being polycystic ovarian syndrome, but I was misdiagnosed month after month. So they kept sort of saying, oh, it's chronic fatigue, it's this, that, and the other. So because I used to be a teacher back in the day. I was teaching French and Spanish at a lovely secondary school, and I was off for 9 months. And I'm not very good at not doing anything. I'm not very good at being at home, on the sofa doing nothing, not feeling well. So the nurse at the school, Nikki, she said to me, why don't you try baking or knitting or crochet? And I was like, okay, I'll give knitting a try. Didn't enjoy that. Did crochet, made some little hats, moved on. And then I tried baking, and I just really, there was something about the process of doing it. measuring out the ingredients, putting them all together, the baking, seeing what comes out. There's something quite sort of mindful about it, because you can
Yeah.
forget about everything else. And also you get something delicious at the end, which is always nice.
Oh,
So yeah, exactly.
now
So
we're
I started
cooking.
doing that. Yeah. And I've actually, it's a bit weird, because at the time my uncle was in hospital. He was very poorly and he passed away not long after. He was just an amazing, amazing man. And he used to love Bake Off. And this is like 2013, so 5 years before I'd ever end up on Bake Off. And I made him some biscuits, some shortbread. I remember chocolate chip shortbread. And my mum took them to the hospital for him. And she's got a video of him saying, "Oh, I love these, Bryony, they're delicious. On your marks, get set, bake." And we look back at that video now, we're like, that is so weird. That is so
Oh my
spooky. He
God,
had this,
yeah.
like, and then he passed away maybe a month later. We were like, Uncle Ian, he knew. Um, and yeah, and then so it was very much a hobby, and I'd make cakes for friends. I made like a penguin cake for my sister-in-law. I made a minion cake for my brother for his 30th. And all these kind of little things, and people would always say to me, "Oh, you should go on Bake Off." And I was like, "No, it's just my, it's my way of relaxing, my way of showing love for people. I only really sort of made cakes for people that I cared about." And then just when I sent off the application to Bake Off in 2017, I sent it off and didn't think anything of it. I thought,
Yeah.
well, so when I started getting the phone calls, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what?" And the whole way through, I was like, "Well, I'm not going to get on." And I genuinely, Ben, when I say I didn't think I'd get on, I really didn't think I thought this is an absolute, there isn't a chance in hell this is going to happen. But I was having such a jolly time doing the audition process that at every stage I was like, if I don't get on, I'll apply again next year. I'll have a solid year of baking like mad. And then next year I'll apply again and see if I could do it. And I honestly, constantly through the whole thing. So then when I got on, I was like, oh my God, this is really going to happen. And
Yeah.
that's why, in the first episode, when I see the tent, I'm like, tent. And that disbelief that I'm actually there was so genuine and so real. And every week that I turned up and was still there, I was like, I can't believe I'm still
Oh,
especially when I messed up so many weeks and managed to sort of slide through, creep through. I was just so happy to be there, Ben. I was so happy even when everything was going to shit and it was awful, and I was riding into the freezer because everything had gone wrong. I was still so excited that I was on Bake Off. That never left me. So I think that shone through, because I was just like, on Bake Off, like the whole time. So even when things went wrong, I was like, it's going wrong, but it's going wrong on Bake Off. So
and what I love as well, it just, taking that little leap of faith. It always blows my mind, Bryony, that, something you might feel a bit anxious about, or shall I, shan't I? You just never know where it might lead to. That's what I
exactly,
love
yeah.
about just having the confidence to take a little opportunity, because you never know.
You don't know, and I'm such a big believer in that now. Like at the time, I was sort of like, oh. Now I always say, like, I do quite a lot of talks in schools and stuff, because still love being around sort of young people. And I go back in and do talks about disability and work in TV and things like that. And I go in and I always say to them at the end, like, if you don't try, you will never know. I said, if I didn't send off that application on a whim, my life would not be where it is now, and I wouldn't have had all these incredible experiences in between. So even if you're thinking, oh, just do it, just go for it, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, I'm all for that completely. I'd love to ask you, the moment when you realised I'm not going to drink anymore. Was that a tough decision for you? Was it a slow build up for you? Was it a tough decision for you to make?
It turned out to be quite easy in the end, because it came down to my health, and I had to make the decision: do I get better and look after my body, or do I keep damaging it? It was after my 39th birthday. I ended up a few days after my birthday, which was, would have been like a standard big night out for me, a couple of bottles of wine and, some vodkas, and feeling like death for the next few days. Which, looking back now, I'm like, what a ridiculous waste of time. Anyway, and yeah, I ended up waking up in the middle of the night, and I was in so much pain. It was kind of here. I thought I was having a heart attack, and it just wouldn't go, and I was literally awake all night. And then I called 111 in the morning, and they sent an ambulance over. So anyway, they ended up taking me into hospital because they were worried I had a pulmonary embolism. And then they did a blood test, which said that I might have a pulmonary embolism. And it was all like, so all this was happening. I felt like shit. I was in hospital for like 24 hours. Anyway, if they ended up thinking it was probably a stomach ulcer, they didn't confirm, completely confirm it, but that was their sort of, this is what we think is going on. Now we think it might have been the start of gallbladder problems because I ended up having my gallbladder out at Christmas. But anyway, whatever was going on, my body wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
So they said, if it's a stomach ulcer, the best thing you can do, stop drinking alcohol, stop drinking fizzy drinks, leave caffeine alone, and stop vaping, because I was vaping at the time. So I just stopped everything because I felt so unwell. I just thought I'll just stop. And because I was so poorly for sort of 2 weeks, I didn't really notice that initial bit because I felt so rubbish. So it got to kind of 3 weeks and I was like, oh, well, I could, I've done 3 weeks. I'll go to a month. Got to a month and I was like, oh, well, maybe I could have like the odd drink. And by that point, I was like, maybe I don't want it. I've done a month. Let's just see how. And the whole time, from that point on, I was like, if I want a drink, I will have a drink. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a social drinker. If I want to have a drink, I'll have a drink. But I never wanted that drink. It just kept going. And then I kept feeling better. And then, the physical effects start coming through and you're like, oh, and I've lost a bit of weight. My clothes are fitting better. My skin doesn't look as dull. I'm enjoying my weekends more. And then this sort of, after about 6 months, we went on a family holiday to Lake Garda, to Eurocamp, which was lush. And, I was there with my husband, my daughter, my mum, my brothers, their families. It was joyous. Sun was shining. We were walking along. There was a rosé festival. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I looked and I thought, I don't want one. And I was like, right, okay. If I don't want a rosé in the sun by Lake Garda with all the people I love, I'm not going to want one. Do you know what I mean? And that was a real turn. I was like, do you know what? I just want a coffee. So yeah. And I just thought, okay, I think I'm done. And again, I was like, I'm not going to say it's forever, but it's definitely for right now. And then the longer it went on, like you say, you start getting compliments. People start noticing that you look different and that you're acting different. And, they sort of say, what's going on? And I say, oh, I've quit drinking. They're like, oh, like, that's not the answer they want. They want you to say that you've, started taking, I've started eating mangoes every day. And now I look like this.
Yeah, like, the mango diet.
Mango diet, yeah. And prioritizing my health and I made sure I was swimming regularly, and now I swim 3 times a week, and and I can do that because I've got the energy and I want to do that, and that's where I find my joy. So
what I love about you, Brian, is your career's flying. You're so effervescent. You spread so much joy, and I love that. And I would love to ask, like, for anyone who's thinking about starting an alcohol-free life, just what joys were there for you initially, and what do you look forward to now?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think for me the initial joys were, it can take weeks, even months, to really start feeling the really kind of positive effects, because initially it can be hard and it can be quite intimidating and overwhelming, especially as we live in a world that's obsessed with alcohol. Like you say, it's your birthday, I'm going to go out and get pissed. Someone's getting christened, let's get pissed. Someone died, let's get pissed. That's just where we go to. So when you're living in that world, it can be quite tricky sometimes to say, well, actually, no, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I think for me, a lot of the joy initially was how proud I was of myself that I'd done it. And I was like, I've done 4 weeks. I've done 5 weeks, and then on the months. And, and I tell people, some people keep it to themselves, I find, but I would tell people, and want people, because I'd want a bit of praise. I want a bit of recognition.
Yeah,
that I've done
yeah.
And I think those first few months, it's all about looking at your life and looking at what you're getting from not drinking. So for me, it was time. Yeah. I got so much time given to me. So not just the time that I lost in the evening before or the day before when I was drinking, time where I think I can't actually remember what I said to that person. I was talking to them for an hour and a half, can't remember what I said, and I just look back and I think, God, I could have said anything. I'm not, but I don't no idea what I said to them. So I've gained that time back because I've not got that memory loss. Yeah. I've gained time the next day, and you wake up feeling so much fresher. Doesn't mean you've got to jump out of bed and do something. If you want to, make yourself a coffee or a cup of tea, get back into bed, read a book, watch something on, play on your phone, whatever, but just enjoy that time where you're not feeling like death. You're just enjoy being with yourself, comfortable. Or if you want to, use that time and go and do something. So go for a walk at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Just really kind of focus and make sure that you recognize what you've done and what you're giving yourself, because it's such a gift. And I think, you can just muddle through the first few months and be like, I've just got to get to the next day without actually stopping and going, I've done 25 days. That's incredible. And look at all this time that I've got. And money as well. Look at the money that you're saving and maybe put that towards something that you want or something that you will find the joy in.
The sun's out finally in the UK. What makes, when you wake up, what makes you feel happy?
Oh, I love it when my husband brings me a cup of tea in bed. That makes me happy. He's very good if he's at home. So he works in the office 4 days a week and then 1 day a week. So I always look forward to that 1 day a week when he works from home, because I get a cup of tea in bed in the morning. And at the weekend, also cuddles with my little girl, because she's only 9, so she's still at that age where she kind of climbs into bed and gives me cuddles in the morning, which is just scrumptious. So I really look forward to that. I also look forward to coming down and my dog's kind of, that something about a dog when they wake up in the morning and they stretch and they smell different. I know that's weird, but like he's just got this really lovely morning smell, and he's all stretchy and cute and snuggly, and I like little cuddles with that. And then just kind of getting out and like you say, when it's sunny, getting out, going for a walk, or, going to get a coffee with my mum and just spending some time together. And it's for me, the happy is either I'm spending time by myself, and enjoying that, being in my in my own company and being like, this is fine, this is actually quite enjoyable, or with my loved ones and that time being quality time that we're spending together and kind of making those memories with Nora especially. That's my happy.
Oh, I love it. And I'm definitely going to, when I have my morning stretch, Briony, hopefully I'll smell a bit different as well. Rita might, hopefully my waft of high karate might have dissipated through the night, but I doubt it. Briony, it's been so lovely to chat to you. You make so many people happy. You're flying. I love it. You're always so positive. Do visit Briony's Insta page, Gloriously Sober, so get on that. And Briony, what's ahead in the coming few weeks? Can we see you on our screen soon?
Absolutely. I'll be back on Morning Live in the next few weeks. It's back on now after its Easter break, which we love. I've already filmed a couple of episodes of Escape this year. I've been in North Yorkshire and Pembrokeshire, which has been great fun. And, we're going to keep manifesting Strictly, so at some point maybe.
Oh, yes. Well, let's see you on Strictly for sure. Briony May Williams, it's been so lovely. Thank you for a wonderful, smile-inducing chat in Benjy's Cafe podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the gloriously sober Briony May Williams. What a brilliant energy. Don't forget, a fresh new episode of Benjy's Cafe podcast drops every Tuesday. Just find us wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a follow so every episode gets sent straight to your phone. Tell your friends, tell your family. And if you can, please leave a review. Joining me next week in Benjy's Cafe is the alcohol-free and life coach, Andy Garwood, proving that there is life beyond booze. I'll get the kettle on. Have a great day.